We are continuing our theme, which is education today. And the question on the table is, do all the people who want to become teachers have to get, for example, a master's degree via certain accredited programs? Or is there another faster method of certifying new teachers that will get them into a classroom faster? It's a question that our next guest has not only been pondering, but holding hearings to answer. Senator Toby Ann Stavisky is the chair of the Senate Committee on Higher Education, and it's great to see you.
Thank you.
So today you have a hearing called Educating Educators, Teacher Preparedness in the 21st Century. What do you hope, what are some of the questions that you're going to be asking the experts who come in?
It's interesting. You just said that. Do you really need a master's degree for teaching? New York is one of 38 states that require a master's degree to teach. The question is whether we should rely on the colleges of education. There are 1,450 throughout the country, colleges of education, departments of education, teacher education centers. The question is, what should their emphasis be? Should it be on such subjects as, here's a university in New York State where to teach social studies, as I'm a former high school social studies teacher, should you be studying language, cognition, and writing, the psychological foundations of education, diversity in the social studies curriculum, things like that? Or should you be studying how to teach children? That's the question we're going to be asking in response to the Regent's proposal.
All right. What about the idea that teachers come into the classroom all ready to teach a classroom that doesn't exist anymore? There is a huge achievement gap. Students today are not the students of 25 years ago, and they're ill-prepared, these teachers, and don't know how to function.
And many of them may have a master's degree at the same time.
They could have 3 master's degrees. It doesn't matter if you don't have control of your classroom.
And be clueless. That is one of the problems that we face in teacher preparedness. And today we're going to be hearing from the Commissioner of Education, the Chancellor of SUNY, the President of the Independent Colleges and Universities, and representatives of the union, and all of the stakeholders. And they're going to tell us what they think of the new proposals. For example, there are cultural institutions which could, under the Regent's proposal, grant master's degrees, but they're not educational institutions. You have, for example, Teach for America, where they take college graduates without any education courses and put them in a classroom without teaching experience. On a personal level, I know your listeners are in Central New York. I am a graduate of Syracuse. Did my student teaching at T. Aaron Levy Junior High School many years ago. So I understand what it's like. But the times have changed. Students no longer finish college in 4 years. They may have to work. Tuition is expensive. They may have family responsibilities. Times have changed, and we've got to meet those challenges.
So if I were, for example, representing a teacher's college, a place where people go, let's use something in Massachusetts, for example, the Massachusetts, I can't remember the name of the college. At any rate, why am I looking at you, Jay? You don't know. Anyway.
Alan Churchock could tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know, but he's not here. Let's just say St. Rose. Okay, so St. Rose is a teacher college, right? We don't know. Okay, yes. Okay. Yes. Patrick says yes. All right, so they wouldn't be too happy if you're going to allow people, to sort of go around them.
Oh, there is great opposition from the... Oh, you're absolutely on target. There's a consortium of... interested parties from Teachers College and Hofstra and throughout the state that have sent a letter to the Commissioner of Education and to the Chancellor, particularly Merrill Tisch, outlining their objections. And it's a lengthy letter that was signed by the President of Teachers College, by the Dean of the Graduate School at Fordham, and a whole host of teacher college special interests, if you will. But nevertheless, they feel that their turf is being encroached upon, and they raise some legitimate questions that have to be answered. And hopefully, Commissioner Steiner we'll answer them today.
There are a whole host of new proposals that you were talking about from the regions. What are some of the other issues that you're going to be delving into?
Primarily the preparation that teachers should undergo to become certified in New York State.
So, do we have some kind of shortage now, or are there plenty of people who want to be teachers? Or?
You know, it's interesting. In New York City, the mayor is about to issue a request for at least $1 million consultant contract on teacher recruitment. But he's going to lay off 6,700 teachers. So I haven't really figured that one out yet. But their school districts may be laying off teachers as a result of the fiscal crisis. So I'm not sure that there are. And there are going to be teachers who may well lose their jobs.
Another issue.
I guess what's always occurred to me is you look at public schools and the wages and benefits they get, and you look at charter schools and at private schools, pay far less, offer benefits that are far less generous than public schools, and yet they don't seem to have any trouble recruiting teachers.
There's also a retention problem, though. Teachers get burned out very easily, particularly teaching in hard-to-serve, difficult areas. And many of those teachers under that recruitment process have left teaching. The ones who were recruited by that private company that the mayor wants to deal with, they have left teaching. So we may be preparing people for jobs that don't exist anymore.
What about the idea that you go into a difficult-to-serve school, let's say?
My first teaching job was at a school that doesn't exist. It was an all-boys high school in Manhattan on the west side at 59th Street and 10th Avenue. The kids couldn't read. It was extremely difficult.
This high school, you said?
High school. It was called Harran High School.
And the kids couldn't read?
The kids had a very low reading level, and I'm talking about the 60s. And it became quite a challenge, and yet we managed to work with these kids, keep them in school, and hopefully many of them will graduate.
So why, this brings up a whole other issue, and we should probably have the senator back to talk about what, the achievement gap and what it is that teachers can do to sort of, eliminate the space between lip and cup. But what about the idea that there are teachers who don't have a master's degree going into schools? I would think that the unions would be a little bit uncomfortable with that, or maybe even angry like the school, St. Rose. Or do they say that you're trotting upon their feet as well?
Steve Allinger from NYSUT is going to be testifying today, and they have not taken a position on the Regent's proposal as far as I know. They have taken a position on how to evaluate teachers, which I think is earth-shaking. It was announced within the last day or two.
We just were speaking with NYSUT's Maria Nera about that very issue. Have you looked at the proposal, and do you support it?
It's certainly a breakthrough as far as I'm concerned. We're getting away. When I was teaching, the assistant principal or the principal would come in, do an observation report. You'd get either a satisfactory or unsatisfactory, and you'd be assessed by 1 or 2 or 3 observation reports. It's also, I think, unfair to grade teachers strictly by how the students do on an exam, because when I was teaching at Harran, the kids would not do well on the Regents. Not fair to fire me because the kids weren't doing well.
Right.
But they've taken a little bit from each side, they've combined it, and I think they have a very interesting mix. And I was very happy to see Michael Mulgrew from the UFT agree to change the way teachers are evaluated. And that does have a connection with our hearing today, because it all deals with race to the top. And if we do these things, there will be federal money available for New York State as part of the race to the top.
Federal money,
money.
That's about $700 million.
And yeah, that's right. This is $700 million, and the federal government has just put in $235 million money for teacher preparation.
We have been speaking with Toby Stavisky. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.